Please like this video. It will really help this story reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for your support. I walked into my own house, and they were giggling like kids. Lauren and her sister Hannah at the kitchen island with coffee and a plate of store-bought cookies, talking over each other, tapping their phones, easy and light. The second I set my keys down, Lauren's face switched off. The laugh died mid-note. She touched the edge of a napkin and went blank like I was a tax form. "Hey," I said. "Hey," she echoed flat. Hannah glanced between us. "Long day. Same as usual." I hung my jacket. "Smells like the bakery exploded." "We were catching up," Lauren muttered. "Is that okay?" "It's your house too," I shrugged. "I like hearing you laugh." She didn't answer. She just picked up her coffee and stared at a spot on the counter like it owed her money. Hannah reached for her purse, read the room in 2 seconds. "I'll head out," Hannah said. "Got an early shift." "You don't have to run," I offered. "No, I do." She touched Lauren's shoulder. "Call me later." The door clicked. Silence poured in. Lauren kept looking at that spot. "What did I do wrong now?" I asked. "Nothing, Mike," she said. "I'm just tired." If I'd known where it was headed, I would have skipped the cookies and saved myself a season. I put the kettle back on the stove even though I didn't need it. "Habit. Want tea?" "I'm fine." "Okay." She walked past me, brushed my sleeve like it was a guardrail, and disappeared down the hall. The floor plan wasn't big enough to hide in, but she made distance out of 12 steps. I stood there, listening to a house where every sound was a point scored against me. I went to bed later than usual. She was already turned away, phone screen lighting her face. I said goodnight. She hummed, screen still glowing. By morning, warmth was a rumor. The cold didn't hit all at once. It was nickel and dime. Fewer questions, shorter answers. A smile rationed like gasoline in a storm. I try not to push. I made dinner twice that week, cleaned the grill, fixed a sticky window. She reacted like I'd balanced my own checkbook. "How's your day?" I asked over chicken and salad. "Busy." "Anything good?" "Same stuff." "You and Marissa still heading to that art thing Saturday?" "Maybe." "Want me to come?" "It's not really your thing." "What is my thing lately, Lauren?" She looked up, bare flicker of annoyance. "Do we have to do this every night?" "Do what?" "Turn everything into some evaluation." I cut another piece of chicken and decided I was done playing customer survey. "Okay, then I'm changing a few things." She blinked. "What?" "I'm pulling my schedule off your calendar. I'll be at the gym Monday and Thursday nights. I'm done waiting around for maybe plans. If you want to schedule something, send a time that works. I'll confirm or not. And I'm separating the discretionary budget. You handle your part, I'll handle mine." Her fork paused midair. "Is this a threat?" "It's logistics," I said. "It protects both of us from guessing." So now we're roommates. We're adults who don't do fishing trips with each other's patience. She pushed her plate away. "You're so dramatic." "I'm so tired of reading minds." She exhaled like the room bored her. "Fine. Do whatever you want. Plan on it." We cleared the table. She went to the couch and opened her laptop. I loaded the dishwasher and wondered when partnership turned into co-management of square footage. Later that week, Hannah dropped by again with a bag of oranges and that easy grin. Hannah was 3 years younger than Lauren, worked 2 jobs, drove a dented sedan, and still found a way to laugh at the day in front of her. We ended up in the kitchen when Lauren stepped out to take a call that lasted forever. "Be honest," I told Hannah, rinsing a knife. "What am I missing here?" "You're not missing," she said softly. "You're taking on too much weight by yourself." Translate. She's scared to feel something she can't control. When you press, she locks up. Great. So to fix it, I should not care. You care. Just stop measuring. People open up to warmth, not pressure. I leaned on the counter. "I've tried warmth." "Then stop performing it and just live. Even if she doesn't come with you." Something in her tone wasn't pity. It was respect, and it sat right with me. The next week, I tested Hannah's advice. No scoreboard. I made coffee without comment, kissed Lauren on the cheek in passing, left the gym twice with sweat like proof of life, and started a Saturday morning plan she wasn't invited to manage. I booked a table at a little place we liked back in better times and texted her the time hours in advance. No essay, no pressure, just a fact. She stared at the message for 5 minutes while sitting 2 feet from me. 8 o'clock, I said. They gave us the patio. Maybe. she answered, eyes still on her screen. Maybe is not a time. She looked up, taking her time. Then go without me. I will, I said. At 7:50 p.m., she came out of the bedroom in a navy dress I used to think meant yes. She didn't look at me. Ready? I asked. She grabbed a different purse and slid on a jacket. Marissa texted, we're hitting a wine tasting. I told you it wasn't your thing. I nodded once, grabbed my keys, and walked past her. She stopped at the door. You're still going? Yep. All alone. I'm good company. You're being petty. I'm being literal. We reached the driveway at the same time. She headed for her car with a look that said you won't make me feel bad. I didn't try. I sat outside on that patio anyway, ate my dinner, tipped too much for one, and looked at couples who had something to say. When I came home, she was already asleep or pretending to be. On the counter, a sticky note. Thanks for being flexible. Flexibility wasn't the point. Respect was. So I made my next move clean and public. Sunday morning, over French press, I slid an envelope across the island. What's this? She asked. Household adjustments, I said. We each get our own checking for personal spending. The joint covers the mortgage, utilities, repairs, groceries. We'll meet on Saturdays at 10 for 15 minutes to plan the week. If you cancel, it's moved to the next Saturday. Her mouth twisted. A meeting. That's so romantic. I stopped waiting for romance to act like adults. She stared at the paper, then at me. You're really doing this? Already did. The accounts are set. She sat back. You don't trust me. I trust me, I said. And I'm tired of the guessing game. She drummed nails on the island, something she did when a sales pitch wasn't working. I'll try to do better, okay? Can you not? I'm not punishing you. This is stability. Fine. She said again, that stretched thin word. Fine. 2 days later, she put her hand on my shoulder on her way out and dropped a quiet. I do appreciate you. That was the first softening. A small kindness like a cloud break. I wanted to believe it. I let myself loosen an inch. That night, she brought home takeout from the cheap Thai place and asked about my client presentation. We ate at the island. She laughed twice at my story about a guy who thought Excel was a personality test. For an hour, we were normal. Then she added, I need more space though. Please stop hovering. I'm at the gym, remember? Twice a week. I'm not hovering. It still feels like a lot. What part? You. Checking in. Watching me. Keeping score. I set my fork down. I set rules so we'd stop keeping score. She scratched an invisible itch on her wrist. You're suffocating me with organization. You were suffocated by spontaneity last month. Don't twist it. I'm quoting you. We're done talking, she said, and packed the leftovers. Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. The next Saturday, at 10 sharp, I sat with the calendar and the budget. She walked in late, sat with her phone, and declared she had a busy week. I nodded, blocked time for my own stuff, and ended the meeting at 11 minutes. No groveling for her attention. No hand-wringing. I took my initiative outside the house too. Monday, I told my project partner, Nathan, that I'd be on the road Thursday to see a client I normally would have Zoomed. Everything okay? He asked, side-eye over his mug. Everything's great, I said. I'm done waiting around at home for energy that doesn't show up. He smirked. That a Hallmark card? It's a schedule. Thursday, I drove 2 hours, shook hands, solved a thing with a spreadsheet and a dry joke, and realized the air felt less heavy when I wasn't muting myself. On the way back, I turned the radio off and thought about the difference between peace and quiet. The tension rolled forward like weather. Lauren swung from cool to dismissive to performance mode, depending on the audience. At a neighbor's barbecue, a guy asked how long we'd been married. Before I could answer, she chimed in, long enough for him to think eating vegetables is a personality. The circle laughed. I smiled and flipped a hot dog that wasn't mine. Later, in the car, I brought it up. You made me a joke. It was a joke, she said. It was a dig. You're too sensitive. Maybe you're too casual with respect. She crossed her arms, turned to the window. You ruin everything by picking it apart. I ruin it by identifying a pattern. You ruin it by talking. When we got home, I sent a text to the group thread for a poker night I'd been skipping. Count me in this Friday. I didn't ask her schedule first. I didn't leave a gap for maybe. Friday at 7, I kissed her on the cheek on the way out. She barely turned. At poker, my buddy Jalen watched me rake a pot and shook his head. You look like a guy measuring exits. I'm a guy measuring standards. He grinned. Same thing if you do it right. Maybe. You're not the type to live with a foot out the door. No, I said. I'm the type to either fix the door or leave the building. Then say what you want and make it expensive not to give it. I did. I took a risk on neutral ground. The following week, Lauren's friends wanted to host a game night. The living room turned into a stage, charcuterie board, bad wine, a stack of cards nobody wanted to learn. I stood, tossed pretzels into a bowl, and chose my timing. Before we start, I said, calm and clear. 2 things. 1, if we're together in public, we don't take shots at each other. 2, if a plan gets canceled at the last second, we don't reschedule it. We replace it with something else later. That's it. Marissa blinked. Whoa. House rules. Basic respect, I said. Lauren laughed, a small, dry sound. You're laying down commandments now? I'm clarifying terms. I looked at the room. I like every person here. I also like not being turned into a punchline. Silence settled like a new rug. Marissa cleared her throat. Fair. We started the game. Lauren avoided my eyes. It was awkward for 5 minutes, then the air changed. We played, we joked, and nobody took a swing at anyone's dignity. When the last person left, Lauren stayed by the door, hand on the knob. You embarrassed me, she said. I set a boundary. You did it in front of people. That was the point. It's easier to keep a rule, everyone heard. She stared like I'd mispronounced her name. You're different lately. I stopped chasing. And if I don't change, then we have data. That was when she tried the second softening. 2 days of over-the-top sweetness. She woke me with coffee, asked about my gym routine, made a big show of folding my shirts, even texted me at midday. You free for dinner? I warmed to it for a minute because I'm not carved out of stone. We went to a casual place and split a burger. She took my hand across the table like we were back at the start. I remember why I married you, she said. I remember wanting to feel seen, I answered, not pulling my hand away. I can do that, she said. Let's reset. Fresh start. I nodded. Okay. Then tomorrow, let's do the weekly meeting at 9 and plan 2 dates for this month. She smiled. Done. She didn't show up for the meeting. I waited 10 minutes, then 20, then sent her a message, moving the meeting to next Saturday. She didn't reply. At noon, she walked in already dressed like she had somewhere better to be. Fell back asleep, she said. No biggie. It is to me, I said. You're making everything heavy again. You're making promises like coupons that expire immediately. Can you not talk to me like a client? I'd have more respect for a client who flaked. That night, we said almost nothing. In the morning, I woke to an email forwarded to our joint address. A rental confirmation in another city for a furnished place. Her name. Her dates. Start of next month. The subject line, welcome. I waited on the porch until she came out, bag in hand. What's the lease? I asked, holding up my phone. It's a short term, she said quickly. Just trying something. It's a work opportunity. Don't make it a thing. It's a move. It's an exploration, she said. I need to figure myself out. You'll be fine. You signed it without telling me. It's easier this way. Sure, I said. Then let's do easy. She frowned. What does that mean? It means we're done pretending this is temporary. I'll handle the mortgage. You take your stuff? No drama. All of this because I want to grow? All of this because you planned a departure while I was still buying groceries. Her jaw tightened. You're making me the bad guy. I'm not making you anything. I'm removing myself from your story arc. She stared at me for a long second, like the move I'd made wasn't allowed in the playbook she liked. Then she nodded, as if talking to a contractor. Fine. It took 4 days to sort the boxes. She kept her clothes, her books, the painting from her aunt, and a few small kitchen things. She left the car we'd bought together. She didn't argue about the house. She didn't cry or make a speech. She just made a list, checked it twice, and idled in the driveway a minute too long. On the porch, Hannah hovered with a tote of random items Lauren had forgotten years ago. Old scarves. A ceramic mug from a trip that used to mean something. She watched her sister load the last box. Do you want me to ride with you? Hannah asked. No, Lauren said. I'm okay. Hannah nodded and took a step back. Lauren glanced at me like I was a neighbor she wouldn't see again. Good luck, she said. You too. The car rolled away. The house exhaled. The first week alone was a kick to the shins. It wasn't heartbreak. It was silence with too much square footage. I woke up at 6 anyway, made coffee, went to work, stayed late, came home to a clean counter. Sometimes I sat on the back steps with a beer and listened to other people's lives drift over the fence. Hannah didn't let me drown in it. She stopped by under the pretense of picking up her tote and left with my laundry basket. She texted, "You're eating, right?" She dragged me to the farmer's market on a Saturday and made fun of my inability to choose tomatoes. Just pick the ones that don't look like they lost a fight, she said. That's a high bar. You're making it complicated. I'm good at that. Try being good at letting things be simple. We walked and didn't talk about Lauren much. When we did, it was practical, not forensic. I told her I was done analyzing. She believed me. Lauren sent a couple of messages early on. They were polite, almost corporate. Thanks for making it easy. Hope you're doing okay. I didn't ignore them. I answered with the same tone. Then she went quiet. Spring turned into something else. I fixed a few things around the house that had been on hold because life was a waiting room. The roof over the porch. The rattling duct in the hallway. I went to poker nights regularly. I took a weekend trip to the coast by myself and didn't make a speech about it to anyone. I remembered what my own thoughts sounded like without background commentary grading them. Hannah kept showing up, not like a rescuer, more like a neighbor who knew good fences and better coffee. We had those late-night talks when she came by after an evening shift. The TV would be on mute, some game nobody was watching, and we'd trade stories about the dumbness of the day. The city felt smaller when she was around. One night, I asked the question that had sat in me like a rock. Say it straight, I told her. What was I supposed to do to make Lauren smile again? Hannah watched me, honest in a way that made it easy. Stop trying to win. Start living like you're not waiting to be chosen. I did that. I know. And sometimes the person who can meet you there isn't the person you started with. We let that sit. No poetry, no sermon. Just two people who had done the math. Months passed. A steady pattern is warmer than a bonfire. Work solid. House quiet, but not empty. I wasn't looking for anything, which, apparently, is when you find something that isn't performative. It started small, obvious only if you were there. I'd be building a shelf and Hannah would hand me a level without making a joke about masculinity. I'd be grilling and she'd bring out a plate and say, "Don't burn the good parts." We'd laugh about nothing and then something, and the air didn't feel like a courtroom where I had to defend existing. We crossed a line one night when she stayed to watch a storm roll in and forgot to leave. No drama, no speech, just a fact that belonged exactly where it landed. We didn't rush it. We didn't hide it either. When it was time, we told the people who were owed the truth. There weren't many. By winter, I asked her to move in. She said yes like she'd already been living there in all the ways that mattered. By spring, we did a small ceremony at the county building with her parents and my brother and nobody else. We didn't do rings with a spotlight and a chorus. We did, "Are you sure? Then yes, then good." I was different. Not new, just unburdened. I didn't need a victory lap. I needed a life that didn't require footnotes. Almost a year to the day after Lauren left, her parents hosted an anniversary dinner. Big table, pot roast, her dad's stories about rebuilding a porch in a hurricane that wasn't a hurricane, her mom's habit of offering everyone more mashed potatoes like it solved political problems. Family, but not the kind that treats you like a pet. Real people with their own edges. Hannah walked in with me, our hands linked for no reason other than we liked it. I nodded to folks I knew, accepted the back slaps and the "good to see you, man," and found our seats. That's when I saw her. Lauren was at the far end, a half smile stuck on her face like a sticker that wouldn't peel. She looked tired in a way makeup can't hide. Not a tragedy, just worn. She caught my eye, then my hand in Hannah's, and all the animation drained out of her expression. For a second, she looked like she'd misplaced a life. We sat. Conversation flowed around us. I kept it easy. I laughed with her dad about a busted fence post. I asked her mom about the new church group. Hannah squeezed my hand under the table once. Not a signal, just presence. I was taking a sip of water when Lauren's chair scraped back. She walked up on quiet feet and stopped behind me. "Can we talk?" she asked, voice low. I looked up. Of course, I said. You're my wife's sister. We should always be able to talk. It hit her like a gust. She went pale. You could see the math happen behind her eyes. Wife. She didn't know. No one had told her. Maybe she'd been too far away. Maybe her sources dried up. Either way, the room shifted. She opened and closed her mouth once. Outside, she said. Hannah glanced at me. I gave her a small nod. She placed a hand on my arm, stayed seated. That mattered. I followed Lauren out to the porch. The evening had that soft smell of cut grass and charcoal from a neighbor's grill. She stood by the rail and didn't know where to put her hands. When? She managed. Months ago, I said. We kept it small. With Hannah. Yes. She swallowed. You're serious. I am. You couldn't tell me? You left, I said gently. We didn't have that kind of relationship anymore. She leaned back against the rail. I made mistakes. I made choices, I said. Different words. I thought I'd be further along by now. I hope you get there. She stared at a spot in the yard. I lost more than I realized. That happens when you misprice respect, I said, not cruel, just honest. She looked up. Can we try again? With you and me? I asked. She nodded once. No, I said. Her throat worked. Just like that. Just like that, I said. I learned how to live without you. Then I learned how to live happy. I'm not giving that back. I was scared, she said. I didn't know how to feel safe and open at the same time. I get it, I said. You wanted control more than partnership. I wanted partnership more than ego. We both got what we asked for. She folded her arms, the move she always used when bargaining. I could do better now. I could do worse, I said lightly. But I won't. You're colder than I remember. I'm clear, I said. I'm not angry. I'm done. She blinked like the word stung. You don't even want to hear about my year? I hope you find what you need, I repeated. But we don't owe each other stories. Her mouth tightened, then loosened. She was always the favorite, she muttered, and I saw the engine under everything. Not romance, not destiny. A lifelong ranking she wanted to fix by managing reality. Control dressed up as seeking joy. Don't do that, I said. Do what? Turn this into some competition you can still win. There's nothing to win here. There's just paths. We're not on the same one. She opened her hands like she could catch the moment and put it back on the shelf. I missed the way you looked at me. I missed the way I looked at myself too, I said, and that was the most honest answer I could give. She nodded once, a small, hopeless movement. Okay. We went back in. I sat beside Hannah, who didn't ask for a report. She slid me a dish of green beans like we'd only been gone to grab napkins. Across the table, Lauren watched us with the eyes of someone in a museum, seeing an exhibit she didn't know existed. Dinner moved on. Her dad told another story. Her mom refilled plates. I looked at the room and felt something I hadn't recognized a year ago. I wasn't bracing for a hit. I was just present. After dessert, Lauren tried one more time. A text pinged on my phone. Can we talk tomorrow? Coffee. I put the phone face down and finished my conversation with her dad about fence posts. When we got to the car, I told Hannah. She texted. I said, You going to answer? Hannah asked. I'm going to live my life, I said. Good plan. In the morning, the text had a follow-up. I'm sorry. I didn't respond. Not because I wanted to hurt her. Because the chapter had a period and I wasn't rewriting punctuation. She kept reaching out for a while. Simple at first. Hope you're well. Then heavier. We could fix what we broke. I didn't play that game. I didn't leave the door cracked for air. I blocked the number after the third message. Not a tantrum, a boundary. A clean exit. These days, the house looks like us. There's a second mug next to mine every morning. There's a plant by the window that somehow stays alive because Hannah remembers to water things. My truck runs better because I actually do the maintenance on time when I'm not negotiating my own schedule. Works good. People know I'm dependable because I stopped bending around chaos I didn't cause. I took a promotion I'd sidestepped when I was busy managing moods at home. Turns out time you reclaim can pay dividends. On Saturdays, we do a quick sit down with a notebook and plan the week, 15 minutes tops. The rule I wrote for a failing marriage became a habit and a good one. We don't keep score. We keep structure. Then we go live. Sometimes we drive out to a trail and hike a couple hours, nothing dramatic. Sometimes we lie on the floor and read separate books and crack up at different parts and share quotes that don't sound dumb when you say them out loud. Sometimes we do nothing. The nothing is honest. It doesn't feel like failure. It feels like a life. I ran into Marissa at the grocery store last month. She asked how I was, eyes darting for gossip. I told her the truth, steady. She said she'd seen Lauren around town again. I nodded. I didn't ask for details. I don't need biographies to stay sure of my own. A friend asked me recently what I'd tell a guy who feels the heat drop in his own kitchen. I'd tell him this: don't chase chuckles, don't beg for warmth, don't manage someone else's weather report. Set your rules in daylight and live by them. Invite them to join you. If they refuse, don't build a climate-controlled cage to make it work. Pack light and walk. When we pass the street where Lauren used to turn toward home, I don't feel victory. I feel clarity. She chose a path that didn't have room for us. I chose a path with room for respect. That's the whole story. Every now and then, I think about that first night with the cookies and the sudden silence. If I could go back, I'd tell myself, pay attention, not to her mood, to your own standards. Because the minute you start negotiating those away, you turn into a man looking for permission to be himself. I don't look for permission anymore. I don't hand out permission slips either. I live like my time is mine. The rest, if it's good, arrives and stays. We cleaned the porch last weekend. Hannah set a new mat by the door, plain, nothing clever, and smiled at me over her shoulder. This looks like home, she said. It is, I answered. That's the whole point. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.